And the chief explained to us the belief that they have that there are certain things that are so fundamental to who we are, so important to their culture, like education, so critically important that they believe there's no future in isolation. When you help one person, you help the collective future. Because even if you never meet, even if your children never meet, maybe your grandchildren or great-grandchildren will. And then when you do one thing to help even a total stranger, it helps the collective future for all. And she believed that's what makes a community. It's not that you live in the same village or the same geographic region. It's not that you go to the same school. It's that you cheer for the same sports team. It's that you come together for the same service action. It's that you as a community look out for each other and you're united around common values. Those values of service, of compassion, of inclusion. It's seeing all those flags that make my heart glow when I walk through your hallway. I am doubly honored to be part of this community when I see all those flags outside. To see the different groups and countries, nationalities and languages, religions, and countries of origin represented here today. And that's what brings us together. That's what makes a community. It's the incredible actions that you've taken as a school community. You know, EC Drury was as legendary for the Spartans in my mind as they were for service. And for good reason for both. To cheer on that contribution. Whether it be reaching out, living that spirit of we at We Day, thinking about that global and local through collecting the book drives that you did, helping to provide a chance here at home. There's no greater gift, I think, in education, so giving books to support that. United Way, reaching out, making sure that no one falls through the cracks, that everyone has what they need as a school community. Fundraising for projects right here in your own community, like the Halton Women's Place during the holidays. Reaching out globally, helping out. Kenya, I love how you did the twist on Halloween for Hunger or We Scare Hunger, collecting the funds door to door. The We Are Silent, the pledge not to speak, raising awareness for those who don't have a voice, maybe those who are bullied or child labor or child soldiers. The funds to help Haiti to build a school after the earthquake. Coming by our office and reaching out to Kenya to continue that link. We're incredibly honored. And I'm incredibly honored as an organizational honored, and I'm as an individual honored. And cannot wait to build that deep link. I promise I won't be a stranger. I can't wait to spend time together. We have a few things that we want to do to express our gratitude, and just on behalf of Free the Children and personally on behalf of myself, a couple things. One is we have a few guests. I'm going to introduce them in a moment, and we also have a few small gifts. To live that spirit of we and in gratitude for all the amazing work we've done to the students here, we have a gift for each and every one of you. It's a copy of the Me to We book. That's the philosophy behind who we are and what we do. Something that I hope will resonate. It was something we started to write, my brother and I, even when I was in high school and continued on to our university days. For all the teachers here, we have a copy of a book called The World Needs Your Kid, Raising Children Who Care and Contribute. Looking at the great educators who we've met through our travels, who have taught us on how to bring that sense of compassion and gratitude and celebration into school on a daily basis. Your work internationally has been incredible. And so we also asked two friends. Well, we have two groups of friends, but the first two friends who have come very far to say thank you. You as a school community reached out to Kenya to build a school. You just hit the goal, and that will transform lives. It will be located in the Masai Mara region, in a part of the world where so few have a chance to go to school. And our next two special guests are two Maasai warriors who have come from Kenya to share some very brief greetings. If you could imagine, Wilson and Jackson each had to kill a lion to prove that they were worthy to go to high school. I know sometimes people complain about going to high school. To convince their parents to let them go to high school, they each had to personally kill a lion. They now don't do that, of course. They do environmental education. They're the last of the generation to do that. They help protect the lions and host trips and work with us as volunteers, and to bring greetings on behalf of the people of Kenya who will benefit from the school that you helped to build. May I welcome Wilson and Jackson to please come on up.
Nice, Washington.
Jambo! Everyone say Jambo! Can I say Jambo? Jambo! Well, thank you very much. My name is Wilson.
Jambo!
Jumbo!
Jambo again!
Jumbo!
And my name is Jackson.
So, we are so honored to be here. It's just wonderful to be here and to meet you guys and celebrate this wonderful event. And say thank you very much. As we came from Kenya, Masai Mara, where we get to see all this impact that Free the Children, making a huge change every day. So thank you very much for supporting Free the Children. We really appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And as Greg said that we do kill ants, so we don't kill ants anymore. And now we believe on education. So thank you very much for supporting all this.
I also would like to say a huge thank you to all parents of North America and also to all students for being a part of Free the Children. Because Free the Children, they can't be able to make a change in the whole world without your help. But because of your help, your support, Free the Children are going to be able to change the whole world. So from the bottom of our hearts, we say a huge thank you. Asante sana.
I like what they're wearing.
Wilson and Jackson came to Canada to speak the Students at We Day, so the students here had the chance to see them on stage. And for this honor, it is a small way that we can say thank you to bring some really, really special guests to join here today. As I start to close, I want to leave you with just one final story, and then we have one other special guest to share with you. But it's to truly appreciate the impact that you have in the lives of others. And to share with you, we have some incredible individuals who have taught me lessons. We have members of our board of directors here. We have great advisors and mentors from school boards and neighboring schools who have been involved in our work who are here, personal friends, staff and team members, our executive director and so many on behalf of Free the Children who are here, and of course, so many across the board. But perhaps the greatest lesson that I think I've ever learned in my life, the greatest lesson I think that I've ever was taught from students, took place in Sierra Leone, West Africa. It took place here, which, believe it or not, is one of the main thoroughfares of Freetown at the time after the war. It went through a brutal war. 30,000 children were forced to be child soldiers, and particularly brutal because how they would recruit children is they would go to the schools and they would fill the schools with bullet holes, and then they would burn the schools to the ground. They would bring forward the teachers, and then in front of the students, one by one, they would execute the teachers. And the reason they did this is because teachers protected students from being recruited, and schools were the backbone of a community. This is just me trying to explain why I'm so grateful for this honor, because I've seen how precious a gift education is around the world. And then they would turn to the students and give them one of two choices. The first choice was to join the rebels, and they had to have an incision made, in many cases, in their temple, and they would use a mixture called bram. It was cocaine and gunpowder. And when it hit the bloodstream, it would make you mentally unstable, filled with fury. And they would force the children to kill or maim a family member. And that way they would never try to escape from the rebels. And the rebels would become their only family. Or the second choice was to have their right hand amputated, so they would never carry a gun on behalf of the government. And it was all for control of the diamond mines. They estimate 30,000 children fought this war.
sit here.
This young man in the photo you see, his name is Santos. And I spoke about the teachers who I've had in my life, and he certainly is on the top of that list. A young man who was what they called head boy, like a student council president at the time, 8th grade in his school. And when the rebels came, they killed the teachers, they brought the students forward, they gave them this choice, and Santos, realizing he was the one who had to raise his voice now on behalf of his classmates, on behalf of the school, that he was the one in charge, he had the courage to raise his hand to the rebel commander. And we heard the story from many in his village. They all remember that when he raised his hand, he wiggled his fingers. And he said the words, "Mr. Rebel Commander, our village believes in peace. Please leave now." And the rebel commander was so incensed that a boy would stand up against him. That he mockingly asked him, "Do you want short sleeves or long sleeves?" Meaning, do you want to lose your hand at the wrist or at the elbow? And Santos just mustered the courage to stare back at him and to say those same words again. "Mr. Rebel Commander, our village believes in peace. Please leave now." And the rebel commander purposely took a dull machete. Now Santos had the sense to create a tourniquet and try to stem the bleeding. And he walked and he walked and he walked for hours, and he made it to the border of a neighboring nation called Guinea, where he collapsed with the arms of a group there called Doctors Without Borders that, by the grace of God and blood transfusion, saved his life. But many were not as lucky as he was. And another student did the same thing in his village after Santos and said the same words. And his third student did the same thing, the same words again. And eventually the rebel commander realized nobody would join. They burned the village, but they left the rest of the students untouched. When Mark and I met Santos in Sierra Leone, where we have one of our offices and do a lot of work there, he told us that he was back in school. Now, I don't mean a beautiful school like this one. This is, I gotta say, probably one of the nicest high schools I've ever been in. This is beautiful. Definitely honored for that. But I mean any school. Any school. The government of Sierra Leone wasn't rebuilding. We hadn't found a school to do what you did for Haiti and do what you did for Kenya. We hadn't found a school to team up yet. And I asked him, "How are you in school?" And he said he taught his left hand how to carve. He so badly wanted to go to high school. He taught his left hand how to carve. And he made these statues that he would sell to the UN and the ECOWAS peacekeepers to send himself and his brother and his sister to school. That's how badly he wanted a chance to go to high school. And when I met him and when Mark and I spoke to him, we said we couldn't imagine the courage to willfully have your hand cut off in defense of your friends in your school. And he looked at us and he said that wasn't the hardest part. He said the hardest part was shortly before we met him, there had been an amnesty in Sierra Leone and almost everyone was set free. The rebel commanders, the leaders, almost everyone was set free, including the man who did that to Santos. And one day it was market day and all the neighboring villages had come together to buy and trade and sell. And Santos saw the man walking free in the market. He saw the man who chopped off his hand walking free among all the villagers. And everyone remembered what had happened, and everyone from that village remembered what Santos had said, and so everyone watched as Santos walked up to that man, and in front of everyone, Santos went up to him and extended his left hand to shake that man's right hand as a symbol of forgiveness and of peace. Santos was 14 years old when he made that choice. He was a grade 10 student. And all I can say is thank God that we never have to make those type of choices, whether it be in Milton or Toronto or Thornhill. What you've done as a school community is you've given the freedom of choice, the chance to go to school, to lift communities out of poverty around the world. The work that you do here at home is inspiring, helping local organizations from right in your own backyard to across the province, to across the country. I'm honored, not just in the naming of the school, but I'm honored to be associated with a school that is so compassionate, that is so kind, that is so caring, and that lives